If you bought a whittling kit from me, then this tutorial is especially for you. You should have instructions, hardware, and a piece of cottonwood bark ready to carve into your own round door. Please be sure to use a sharp knife and wear a cut-proof glove if you are a beginner. Just remember that the glove might protect you from a slice, but not from a stab. They're not foolproof. This is called stropping compound or honing compound. This is my favorite blade to whittle with. It is a simple chip carving knife that I bought from Lee Valley Tools. I believe they run about $22. Once this has been sharpened on a stone or a series of stones, then it's good to just strop it very quickly before you start each day. It is much more dangerous to carve with a dull knife because the blade must be forced through the wood. So a sharp knife, strangely enough, is much safer than a dull one. Your choice of carving knife might come down to how big are your hands. Our first step is a stop cut all along the line. Just keep following that line, carefully bringing it along. Brace yourself and just take small moves at a time. You don't want to slip across here. That will mark your door frame. You can always shave that off and go a little lower in the wood. But if you just go slow, you can always go over it a second time or make it deeper later after some of the inside material is removed. At the bottom here, you can see that it gets very narrow. So don't push too deep. And if it does crack on you, you can put a dab of glue in there if you want, or we can just lower this a bit more after we've got our inner door in place. Our next step is a push cut with the blade laid just on a slight angle, pretty much as you can get away with the handle. And then we guide the knife around the stop cut, paying attention to where the tip is. As we turn the knife around on that angle, we keep the tip away from the door frame. So think about where that tip is and just bring it around. And if you end up coming into the circle a little bit, you can always come back and go closer to the edge again. We do that all the way around. And if you can feel it catching, like, oh, it's going to start ripping out, then you turn your knife around and you come back the other direction as a pull cut. So you brace your thumbs back here, they're out of the way in case it slips. You keep your tip away from the outer frame and you come down to meet that shaving you were doing before. We can bring that around here this way. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that feels pretty good. And then you can come in here and take some of your center away with your pull cut. We'll go back here with another push cut. And you see I'm bracing the piece. I've got my thumb here, my finger here, my other hand's holding the blade steady, and it's braced on the table. I just come along like this, Being careful how close my tip is to that frame. And then I can shave away some in the middle too. Just like that. Now we just come in and clean up our high spots. So here, this piece isn't coming away easily. So that shows me I need to come back in here with the straight up and down vertical blade and come around and recut that stop cut. You see how it let go right away? That's what our stop cut does for us, is it makes these pieces come away clean and easy. It's not a bad idea if you're going to make a deeper door or a thicker frame. It's not a bad idea to clean this up and then come back with your stop cut and recut it. Just go really slow. This is the point where usually I slip and I cut my frame and then I'm upset. Always recap your blade when you're going to take a break or switch tools. If you have a small chisel of any kind, that can be helpful, a little easier than your straight knife, to clean up inside the door frame and flatten that surface out really nice and quick. Our next step is to draw the door boards. I like to start in the middle, and I like to use a square so that the lines are 90 degrees to the bottom frame. Remember, the more boards you draw, the more lines you have to carve. To make the shallow V cuts, take your blade straight up and down and take it all the way down your pencil line. Very shallow. You can brace the piece right on the table to do that. Just come straight down your line in one direction and then turn it over and do another line on a slightly different angle, but just slight, just like you're cutting away the pencil line. You'll get little shavings like that. Right? So we do a stop cut straight down the pencil line, very shallow. Then we turn the piece over and we come back along that line on a slightly different angle. Very shallow, and again, we get little pieces that come away. You can go over it again on the other angle, like this. There you go. Now we have door boards. Now it's up to you if you want to do a stone frame around your door. Check out the video for the bark fairy door, and that will show you how to make those stones and how to separate them and make them look really good. Our last step is to add the doorknob. It's a simple brass tack. You can put it in the middle or to one side, whatever suits you. Other cool things could be used, like a button or a nail with a nice big flat head. Congratulations! You have carved a fairy door. Let's put some finish on it and see how it looks. Of course, you can always paint it too if you like. You can also do a doorknob that looks like a ring, just by using a head pin cut very short and putting a jump ring on it, sticking that into the wood, maybe add a dab of glue, and it'll look like a ring for your doorknob. I decided to go ahead and paint it traditional Hobbit door colors. I hope this video helped you complete your whittling project successfully. Don't forget to share on Instagram at Carving the Cotton.